recording.
Okay.
Okay, so to do the puzzle, you have to go try and open this door, get the 1/6, and then go break the lock with the ice pick. Go back to this door, try and open it with the ×10 timey, instead of using a bajillion seconds picking up the key with the ice pick. You then go back up and pick up the ice pick key.
Agent Date, you've got 5 minutes.
You tell Pewter to shut the hell up. You go back to door A and you open it. After you go through door A, you go across this scaffolding. You drop down here. You open up this door to get the ×3 timey. You open this door to get the ×5 timey. Right below. Now this is probably not perfect, but then you can use that ×5 timey to friggin' waste it there investigating the shelf.
Agent Date, you've got 4 minutes.
And you go over to the oil drum. You push it over the edge. That raises the shelf. Use the time one to open up this door. Use the time one to open up this door. Then you run back over here. You walk past the proper key of the 8 o'clock timer. You go to door D. You waste the ×10 timey to only lose 10 seconds, failing to open it because you don't have the 8 o'clock key. You pick up the 8 o'clock key. You go through door D. Open her up. After going through door D, you ignore the control panel. You ignore door 3. You kick the pipe. Pipe thaws the door, or thaws the door. You use your other 1 second to open up the door. You watch Iris get butchered. It's great.
You have 3 minutes, Date.
You waste that ×10 timey on the investigate of the control panel that you don't need. So then you can slide in the key, saving 45 seconds. You rotate. You press. You rotate again to extend it. After you do that, you go back down here through door D. You open it up. I could use the 1/9 there. It's irrelevant. Then you gotta walk all the freaking way around here. Doing the lottie-dottie-dottie-das. I'm gonna use the 1/9 here. Open this up so it doesn't freaking get rid of my 1/9. Door B. We'll use the 1/3 on door B. Open this up. Go through. Now that we did that, we can go across this scaffolding.
Hurry.
You tell Pewter to shut the fuck up again. You drop down here. You use the 1/10 to kick the door open. Go to the ladder. Use the 1 second timey to tackle the ladder. It does all the stuff. You open the door, doesn't really matter which time you use because it's the last thing. And then you watch everything play out. Yeah, running through that puzzle takes about 3 minutes in total if you know exactly what to do.
Iba, return to the control room on the 3rd floor.
At once.
Renju killed Shoko Nadami. Iris killed Renju. So Sejima killed Iris and probably Ota. And as you know, Boss killed So.
What the hell is going on?
Well, Date, I'll tell you what the hell's going on. Those are all different bodies. What I want to know is what the fuck Hitomi and Boss are doing in the room with the sync, in the prototype sync machine. Anyway, I'll tell you guys what the hell is going on.
Date, what are you doing?
All the
6 minutes are up.
Wait! Hitomi is...
Date, you can't go any longer! Force shutdown!
No!
So what the hell is going on is, although we saw like a chain of like revenge murders kind of thing, it was actually all carried out by one person. Because of the body swapping from the sync machine. And I believe that one person is Saito Sejima, whose body we are inhabiting. So that's my theory. It's not that hard of a theory to figure out once you realize body swapping is shenanigans. That's the whole everything about this. That's the main plot twist of this game, is there's two body swapping machines and they're body swapping machines. You know? You still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Wake up.
I took a
I'm
look around your
awake.
head, and I discovered something. Something about the new Cyclops serial killings. Apart from Ota, there are 4 victims. Shoko Nadami, Renju Okiura, Iris Sagan, and So Sejima. Who was responsible for these murders? Shoko was stabbed by Renju with an ice pick. Renju was strangled to death by Iris. So cut open Iris's body, but who shot So? It was you. In other words, all of these murders were committed by different people. There wasn't just one killer. That's how it looks on the surface, anyway. But that's not the truth, is it? There's only one culprit.
Huh. Like, I know the explosion hit Boss's shoulder, but it's a kind of coincidence that it hit her right shoulder. So, I think Hitomi's mind is in Boss's body right now.
One person.
Oh.
And that person is... Yes, you. The person in front of me right now.
You're blaming the commander of Abyss for this?
No.
No, not Boss. The person inside Boss's head.
Can you at least try to make sense?
Alright, I'll explain. You know about the abandoned chemical plant in Kawasaki?
Yeah, we do.
There's a prototype sync machine there.
Man, switch leg. His
You
leg.
use that device to swap around bodies one by one.
In other words, the entire egg ends up being replaced. Mind, consciousness, memory, they are traded. Switched.
I don't know where it started, but at some point, you got into Shoko's brain. Then, you got into Renju's.
Why would she get into Shoko's brain? Unless that's why Shoko was so abusive to Mizuki.
and got rid of Shoko's body. After Renju was Iris. You strangled Renju using Iris. After that, into So, who you used to kill Iris and Ota at the cold storage warehouse. Now, you're in Boss's body, inside her head.
I see. If you know that much, then I have nothing left to hide. Yes, I am the culprit behind the new Cyclops serial killings.
I want to feel like it's gonna. I feel like this is gonna be Hitomi to get revenge for Monica.
I guess you can call me the new Cyclops killer.
Who was inside Iris during the interrogation on Sunday?
That was me.
You imitate her well. From the way you talked and your body language, it was like the real Iris. Earlier, too, you almost had me fooled. Your imitation of Boss was perfect.
Yes, there's a reason for that. Let me define some terms first. A person's memory and sense of self. Let's call that personality. It isn't quite the right word, but it'll suffice. Now, transferring that personality into someone else's brain, let's call that parasitism. The one transferring is the parasite. The one being transferred into is the host. Are you with me so far?
Yeah. You're taking over their mannerisms.
Moving on. Even after the personality exchange is complete, the host's memory isn't completely lost. About 1% remains in the brain. So, a parasite could use that 1% to imitate the language and behavior of the host. That's how I knew about the warehouse and Sunfish Pocket, by the way. Thanks to Renju and Iris's remaining memories.
Okay, but who the fuck are you?
I'm telling you, it was me.
That's a face, alright.
Why are you making me repeat myself?
Okay, but
That means the Somnium I entered on Sunday.
That's right. It was me.
oh. So we didn't enter Iris' Somnium on Sunday. We entered whoever the fuck this is. How? So this has to be Saito then. Because if Saito Sajima's body is our body and we saw ourselves in this Somnium, then only Saito Sajima and Rohan would know. So, oh
Right.
man, wouldn't it be a kick if it was Rohan's brain? And something else was troubling me.
What's going on here?
Give me the details of each crime.
Before I do, there's something I want to hear from you. How did you know about the prototype sync machine?
Other timelines. Come on, game, keep up.
And not only that, you also seem to know what the sync machine is truly capable of.
Other timelines.
Why is that?
That's...
Regaining your memories, are you? Human memory is fractal. If you retain even a single piece of it, it's possible to recreate the whole thing. Pieces of memories are like roots that grow into every corner of the brain, gradually, slowly, taking its time. I imagine the same thing is happening in your brain right now.
A fractal is a figure with self-similarity. Allow me to explain. See this? Whichever fragment you cut, you will see a similar shape. The whole is made up of its similar parts. This is called a fractal figure. Memories in the brain are similar. That is what he is explaining. He is claiming that from a few pieces, you can rebuild the memory.
How do you know it's a he, Aiba? There could be a woman in Boss's body. You don't know. I knew about the prototype from regaining my memory? Is that right? No, it's not. No, that's not it.
Parallel worlds exist.
Who the hell are you?
Saito. Saito Sajima.
Dun 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 dun. Not that big a plot twist because I already fucking figured it out.
Congressman Sajima's son.
What?
I researched Saito thoroughly, but I cannot find any images of him on the internet. He is listed on the family register, but I cannot find any photographs.
Go on.
Fine. I still have time.
Time?
You'll see. So, where do you want me to start?
It's just past midnight on Tuesday. Shoko was killed on Friday. If we think of that as day 1, today is day 5. What was Saito doing those days? I decided to ask him. What were you doing on Friday when you killed Shoko?
Like you guessed, my personality was in Shoko, Renju's ex-wife.
For how long?
That made calling Renju easy. I need to talk to you about something. He came over without question. I think it was around 4 p.m. I had him meet me at the chemical plant. I made Renju go to sleep. Synced. Switched personalities.
And you know the rest.
And then stabbed Shoko's discarded body with an ice pick. I took Shoko to Bloom Park by car, using the old abandoned subway line.
That we already knew.
Must have been around 8 p.m. by the time I was finished.
Oh. You know what I'm thinking? You know that other timeline where Iris was a monster?
Right.
Where she killed all the animals?
Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't Iris. That was this asshole.
God dang it.
Yeah, that wasn't Iris. That was this bitch.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Because we were in that person's Somnium.
Yeah.
I tied up Shoko to one of the merry-go-round horses. After that, I used Renju's phone to send a Nile message to Mizuki.
Mizuki, Daddy got caught up in something serious.
Then, I just waited for Mizuki to arrive.
Okay, what were you doing on Saturday?
Until next Saturday evening, my personality was inside Renju.
Which makes perfect sense.
My next target was Iris.
That's why he was so desperate to look for her.
I knew she would be suspicious if I asked her to come to Kawasaki, so I asked her to come to Sunfish Pocket first. I called her a little before 5 p.m., and she arrived just after 6. I greeted her, then convinced her to come with me. That's when Ota saw us. Anyway, I put her in the car, then headed to the chemical plant. On the way, I made her take a sleeping pill. I knew she might run once she saw where we were going. It was around 7 p.m. when I got there, and I wasted no time switching bodies. After getting Iris's body, I used a rolled-up apron to strangle Renju to death. Then I put his body in an empty oil drum I'd prepared earlier.
Wait a minute. This particular line doesn't make sense. So, he switched into Iris's body and then immediately strangled Renju to death. Right?
Right.
But it said Renju was drugged prior to that.
Right.
So, how could he force himself to regain consciousness in Iris's body and also have Renju not regain consciousness? How would she have gotten Renju to take the drugs? Unless he took the drugs in Renju's body first and then hooked up to the sync machine?
Don't know.
I put that in the trunk of the car, then headed to Sunfish Pocket. But then, something I didn't anticipate happened. Waiting for the signal in Akiba, someone knocked on the window of the car. It was Ota. He asked me something about being able to drive. He was surprised, to say the least. I didn't have time to waste on him, but I couldn't risk him finding the oil drum in the trunk. Plus, if word got around that Renji's car was spotted driving around Akiba, that would foil my plans. So, I came up with a lie. I told him that I didn't have a license, so he had to keep it a secret. That's what that thing referred to in Ota's Nile messages, by the way. And just like that, I managed to escape a bad situation and headed to Sunfish Pocket as planned.
Like, whoever is doing the fucking voice acting for Saito is, like, doing a hell of a good job.
The rest went exactly as you already figured out.
Like, they're doing a hell of a job creeping me the fuck out with their way of speaking. What about Sunday? What were you doing then?
Sunday morning, I had a recording or some such thing scheduled. Oh, I am, of course, referring to Iris. I didn't want to draw suspicion, so I decided to attend, as planned. I went to Lemniscate and performed my job, and when I left, I ran into you, Date. To be honest, I was a little surprised. Just the previous night, I was a parasite in the body of Renju. I didn't think Ota had seen me. So, of course, I didn't expect to see you there so soon. You were on to me, but there was nothing I could do about that. If I ran, it would only increase your suspicion. So I decided to play my role. The interrogation began around 8:20 p.m., is that right? Then you synced into my mind. But you didn't get what you were looking for, did you? As a result, you had no choice but to release me. I didn't want to go home right away. I knew there might be police waiting for me. That would make it difficult to sneak out at night. And that would put my plan in jeopardy. So I asked you to take me to Marble. I tried to find an opportunity to run, but then another unexpected event occurred. I got a Nile message from Ota. I knew I could use him, so I told him I needed his help and to meet me at Marble. He did as I instructed him to do. After that, I got into the van with Ota, but because his presence was unnecessary, I asked him to stop at a convenience store to buy me something to drink. When he was gone, I took his car and drove to my parents' house where I used to live. Yes, the Sajima residence.
Yep, that lines up with Mayumi's testimony. Who saw that van go into Sosajima's house.
Of course, I knew I couldn't just walk up and ring the doorbell. Hello, Father, it's been a long time. I was also in Iris's body at the time.
I mean, you still could have been, hello, Father, it's been a long time. Haha!
But I thought I could use that to my advantage. So I pushed on the intercom, and sure enough, my dad invited me inside. I told him this: I want you to come with me. There's something I need to show you. He was quiet for a while, but eventually agreed and got into the van with me.
Like, I wonder what body they use to butcher and cut up Sosajima and stuff him in the face.
We arrived at the prototype sync machine around 11:50 p.m. By the time I was in the body
Oh yeah,
of
that's right.
Sosajima,
Totally forgot about
it
that.
was a new day.
Yeah, it happened in 2 different sections. Continue
This
on.
was yesterday, early Monday morning, past midnight. In my new body, I drugged Iris, put her in the van, and drove to a new location, Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse. I arrived around 1, then prepared for the show for a couple hours. Of course, when I say show, I mean dismembering Iris. Because of the temperature in the warehouse, it took longer than I expected to prepare, but... well, you saw it in the video.
I got it good.
Of course, I didn't anticipate Ota would show up. What does that make it? 3 times that brat has showed up unexpectedly? That annoyed me to no end, and I took that out on him. Dressing him up in the polar bear was an impromptu plan on my part. I didn't mean to make you think he was the killer. I just wanted to throw a wrench into the investigation. Didn't matter if you found out or not. This all happened Monday morning. I left the warehouse around 3:30 a.m.
Day 4, Monday.
There isn't much to talk about on Monday. Before noon, I used my old man's body to call this one Boss. You might not know this, but she and my father go back about 6 years. The two shared a terrible secret. Hinting at that was enough to get the boss to come running to me immediately. I injected her with a sedative, then brought her body to the chemical plant. I synced with her, exchanged our bodies.
Like, this is all going more or less exactly how I was deducing throughout the game.
Yeah.
And after blowing my father's brains out, I cut his body into pieces. I stuffed the meat into a vase I'd brought earlier, then drove back to my house.
Wait a minute. We'll have them continue that next time. Till then, everybody.